First of all, my name is Andrea, and I'm the North Dakota Envirothon Coordinator. I've had this position for 4 years, and it's been a lot of fun. I've seen a lot of growth. We also have an Envirothon committee with 18 members, and they represent a variety of natural resource professions from the NRCS, Army Corps of Engineers, North Dakota Forest Service, North Dakota Department of Water Resources, the North Dakota Department of Environmental Quality and Game and Fish, as well as Valley City State University, Prairie Waters, ASU, and Ducks Unlimited. So this committee meets several times throughout the year to discuss the programs and where we're going next. They write the tests, they prepare the curriculum. They're the brains behind the Envirothon. So I'm very thankful for their dedication and everything they do. We could not run our program without generous sponsors. We have a lot of financial donors and in-kind donors of time and supplies and resources. And all these organizations have helped tremendously over the last year to help grow our program. When I took over, it was August of 2020. So we just came off of we canceled our competition that year in May of 2020 due to COVID. And I started in the first year, we had a virtual event, and I think we had 10 teams compete. And last year we had 24. So we're seeing a lot of growth and excitement. As well, when I started, we had only 2 regional events, and now we are starting our 4th one this fall. So it's pretty exciting to see how many more kids we're reaching in natural resources. So for anybody who's super new, they might question, what is the North Dakota Envirothon? We're a hands-on problem-solving environmental education program for high school students. It's actually part of an overarching national competition called an NCF, which is National Conservation Foundation. Pretty much all 50 states have an Envirothon program, plus a lot of provinces in Canada and even China have a few Envirothon organizations. The North Dakota Envirothon focuses on 5 different disciplines. They focus on aquatics. As you can see, these pictures I'm showing here are all from different state competitions. These students actually get their hands dirty, get in the water, and they will take water samples and test for different water quality features. Or they also do a bunch of stuff with forestry, right? Identify tree species, and they'll actually cut wood cookies. They'll look at the range clippings for forage production. So it's very hands-on. It's what our natural resources professionals are doing day in and day out in their careers, and we're teaching these students these things. Soils, they'll look at the soils and identify coloring, texture to identify all different soil health qualities and features. And wildlife, they'll look at different pelts and skulls, fish, all sorts, and they'll identify the animals and learn about the health of the ecosystems as well. All the 5 Envirothon disciplines do go together, and we help students understand the importance of healthy ecosystems. At our state events and some of our regional events, we have what's called the current issue. And so each year, the National Envirothon determines the current issue that students will look at, and that is what they'll present an argument on. This year, it's roots and resiliency. So it's looking at how forests can help combat climate change, how can go forward into the future. So you might wonder now, what is a team? A team is a group of 5 students for the Envirothon, and they have to be in high school, grades 9 through 12. As you can see, these kids have a lot of fun. This is at state. They get to know each other. They get to know their trail guides, their advisors. They act goofy. They interact with each other, and then they interact with other people too. Who is an advisor? So every team needs an advisor. That could be a teacher, a community member. We've had some soil conservation district employees be their advisor, a chaperone. So every team, or every at least school, needs to bring along at least one advisor to regionals. When we go to state, you have to have a advisor or chaperone for each gender. And that's for sleeping purposes. We'll put all the boys in the male dorm and all the females in the female dorm, and they need a chaperone to be there in case something happens. But the advisor's role is to guide the students through our curriculum throughout the year, help get them excited for the competitions, get them to the event, and then just supervisory a little bit at events. We have regional events. Like I said, we have 4 of them now. The Mouse River Loop, which is in Renville, the Northeast Regional, which is a new one. This year will be at Icelandic State Park. The Cheyenne River Valley, which is at Valley City Catcher, and the Lewis and Clark, which is at this year at the Washburn 4-H camp. And these are held every fall. Their purpose is to serve as a kickoff to our Envirothon season, to get kids excited about the program, to get new teachers a chance to see what the program is like without having to commit to a full day event. Most of these regional Envirothons only go from like 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. So it's much more accessible for a team to come versus the state competition. And our regional Envirothons are a mix of what we do at state. Some of them include trail tests like you'll see at state. And then the afternoon session will include a lot of education stations. Like you see here, we had NRCS bring a soil trailer and did a demonstration. There was some demonstrations with pelts last year. So it's a way to also teach kids Envirothon discipline information at the event. Our state event is held every May, and it's been held at Crystal Springs for a very long time. It's a great facility, and they keep building more dorm rooms and have plenty of space for us, so I can see us staying there for a while. Typically, our state event starts on a Wednesday evening and concludes late Friday afternoon. Now, if you go to a regional competition, you're not required to go to state. So just because you go to regionals, you don't have to go. One thing we do have, though, is if you do place in the top 2 at any regional event, you get an automatic entrance and your entrance fee paid for state. As we keep growing and growing, I imagine we'll start to hit our max, which is about 26 teams, I think, that we can hold at Crystal Springs based on the trails and the number of dorms and volunteers, maybe 28. So we will max out. So at some point, earning one of those spots might be helpful. So there would be 8 spots already to the regional champions. So now I'm going to go to the website. So it's important to understand. And I've had some feedback about our website that it's really complicated. So I apologize for that. Websites are not my specialty, and it is my goal this next year to work with some people to help us redesign it. This was how it was when I got it, and so I'm just kind of used to it, so I don't realize what's hard to see or not. Excuse me. So our Envirothon committee developed all of our study resources, and that can all be found on our website by hovering over our study resources tab and clicking on it. That'll take you to this page. Right here we have our aquatics resources, prairie, wildlife, and soils. And we have corresponding videos underneath. And then in the blue, some corresponding like worksheets or activities kind of. So if you click on this aquatics resource page, this will take you to a page of all the study resources for aquatics. And our committee members, it has their names, and if you want to contact them with questions, and then they'll have a lot of websites to take that your students can look through to prepare for the Envirothon. So that's for each of these. So make sure, I think I had some teachers say they didn't know they're supposed to click on the buttons. So make sure you click on each of these buttons, these green buttons, prairie, wildlife, soils. And that'll help you find all of our resources. They're usually anywhere from 1 to 4 pages long. And then, like I said, there's some of these blue buttons. So this one is a key to common mammal skulls. So this is something else that wildlife provided and wants students to understand. So you can go through this with your team. It'll help them understand how to prepare for understanding skulls. I also want to share our YouTube channel, the North Dakota Envirothon. Currently, we have 27 subscribers. We're getting up there. We do have 50 videos, and I'm proud of this. The last 2 years, we've had Wednesday training sessions, and our committee members have prepared a new video every week for 13 weeks. And so these, I think, are a wealth of information, and they range mostly from about 15 minutes up to 30 minutes. The goal is that you could watch them in a class period at school and possibly discuss them. So I would I'd recommend going probably to our playlists. And from there you could pick, like, say the 2024 Wednesday training session videos. These might be helpful to start with and kind of go through looking at what do I start studying, because those 6 pages of aquatics is overwhelming. Well, then you could just go pick on here, ask the water quality, ask the bugs, where our committee members prepared a video about water quality related to bugs. So that might be really helpful to start with. So I suggest going through these videos as a way to start research, studying. And also I've put it up into different categories. So there's a wildlife playlist, aquatics, all of them. One more thing to note, last year with all of our training videos, we, like for instance, this one is a forestry one. We tried to create exercise. We created an exercise to go along with it for the teams to do, make it a little more hands-on other than just watching a video. So for instance, if you go to then the information, or you click on the description box, you can click on here where it says teaching with eye trees. So in the video, she'll talk about this exercise, teaching with eye trees. So you can click on that, and it'll take you to this part of our website again, which is one of these part of our study resources, these pull down tabs. But so here's part of it, and you'll click on that green tab again, and you'll get this whole exercise that you can do with your students. So most of the 13 videos we prepared last year have some type of a corresponding exercise to go along with that can help your team prepare, because I think a hands-on experience is always more fun than just watching a video. One other thing to note about the study resource. In 2023, we created Kahoot quizzes, and so that's here. So that's on our study tab. You can click on all these and it'll take you to different Kahoots. I know some kids like to use them to practice. Most of them have about 10 to 20 questions to practice with. So the forestry confer might be helpful if you want to review that. So we've created those, and I think teachers said they want more of those. The next coming year, we'll create more Kahoots to help teams prepare. No questions yet. Okay, so how do you register? Sometimes that's confusing too. So from our website, once again, you'll highlight the regional competitions tab thing. I don't know what to call it. And you can go down to, say, Cheyenne River Valley, who's coming up on October 2nd. And teams would register from here. So we have this green button, Valley Registration, which is simply a Google form. You just need to fill out your school, your city. We have teams create a name. They can't be identified with their school, especially when we're reviewing their, sorry, excuse me. Oopsies, 1 second, I lost my tab. Push the wrong button. Okay, here we go. We have teams create a name, and because when we're, say, presenting at a presentation, they have to be called like the pre-win something or whatever. They can't be recognized by their school in case there's some sort of bias from the judges. So you need your name, advisor's email, and then we always provide meals at all of our events. I don't think we ever make a team bring food. So at all our regional events, we'll provide a lunch, and then at state, we provide everything you need, plenty of breakfast, lunch, snacks. Most kids go home plenty full. So, and then if you have other dietary restrictions, we try hard to meet what you make everybody comfortable eating. And you just write your students' names and then their meal choices. That's basically about it for all of your students. And as you can see, like the first 3 students are required pretty much. I don't really ever have teams under 3. After that, if you do only have a 4th and a 5th student, that's fine, especially at regionals. We just want to get more kids to these events. So it's fine. I'll just be in touch with you, but yeah, you don't fill those out. And then just at the bottom, certify that your students are all in grades 9 through 12. We've had teachers question whether or not that was true sometimes in the past. Another thing that's important when you register, you need to have your teams fill out this health and photo release form. Each student needs to have one of these filled out. And I really prefer to get them scanned back and emailed to me. One, I like to let a teacher bring them all with them to the event. But if what happens is if you don't have them and you come to the event, then I can't let you compete. So that's just wait until the end. But so try to get these back from your students. Pretty basic information, doctor information in case. And we have a spot here for limitations if they have allergies or if they have diabetes or something we need to know of that you might need to have something. Just make sure they write it down. And then we're not going to have their photos taken. We take a lot of photos of the students, and it helps with promotion and showing what an Envirothon is like. Just need photo release form signed too, and if they don't want to be photographed, that's totally fine. We'll make sure we don't do that. And then lastly, I want to quick go over our rules and regulations. So those can be found under our state competition registration page. And those are right here. It's one of these green buttons. So here's where you register for state, but we don't have right now. Right here, there's also a fact sheet if you're interested in the Envirothon. But here's our rules and regulations. And this is a lot of information that we've kind of covered. You're just guaranteed that all your kids will be in grades 9 through 12. Teams, when they go to state, have to be affiliated with the local soil conservation district, which I can help you get that taken care of. Teams would have to have 5 students. We don't totally require 5 students. The one requirement with 5 students is you can't place in the top 3 at an event if you don't have 5 students, because the National Envirothon requires 5 kids to compete. If you do choose to bring, like, say, 4 kids to state, then that means you will just compete and have fun, but you don't have a chance of winning. That is the downside to that. Just talk about how we provide everything at state. We do only charge $50 to attend. We require chaperones at state. Some other basic rules like no smoking, tobacco, drugs, alcohol, firearms, or weapons, of course. We're also really strict on cell phones, cameras, smartwatches, other electronic devices. Basically, once you come to the event, you can't have those phones until you leave on the bus, is probably the way to think about it. So teachers should be prepared with like a backpack to keep like on the bus, or maybe teachers just want to keep the backpack on them, let the kids have the phones all day, but we don't even allow them at lunch. So basically, once you get to the event, there's no cell phones. And we clarified the rule this year that whoever breaks the rules is the one who gets disqualified, not the entire team. So that was a little question our kids had last year. We also, as far as at state goes, we clarified that on Friday when they're giving presentations can't talk to their students about what they are learning in that current issue presentation. So we just want to make sure they're not helping them out with that, but we'll discuss that as state gets closer. Another thing added this year is that, let's see, committee members and coordinators, their kids can participate in the Envirothon. However, they're not allowed to participate in test creation or scenario development. So if our committee members, we're starting to get members who have kids who are in middle school and high school, want to have their kid compete. They can, they just can't participate in it. So we'll keep it, and we'll always let you guys know when that happens. That's the main things I had to go over with today. Do you guys have any other questions with how to get prepared or how to attend, or what are your guys' questions?
I have a question as a brand new advisor.
Yeah.
When the kids are going through their trail testing and they're doing the hands-on stuff, is there an explanation of like how to do what they're supposed to do? Because I don't have any, you know, some of the equipment that they'll be using.
Mm-hmm.
So does it tell them how to do it?
Sometimes, and then sometimes not. Like a lot of them, for instance, like aquatics, the information is usually there if they read through the problem, but you have to sometimes be able to read through it and identify some of the terminology. So it's kind of there. At state, as far as equipment goes, we do the night before have like all the equipment the teams might possibly use, and our committee members will explain how to use them. Kids get a chance to use them. So we do that at state. So like say you don't know how to use a clinometer, there'll be clinometers to practice with the night before. We do recognize you don't all have these equipments. I'd say most of the pieces of equipment that we'll use, there is a video for. We have discovered that there's a need for that, and like most of the teachers just don't have the things. But at regionals, yeah, we don't have the time to go over it in advance, but